and thank you. Welcome to everyone. We appreciate you tuning in to Stepping Into Me, the podcast. I am yours truly, Latoya Dameron, and I am your host for this podcast where we're going to be unpacking different topics, subjects that are intended to be thought-provoking, they're intended to be eye-opening and inspiring for you. The goal is for you to start your week engaging in conversation that encourages you to embrace who you are, to embrace your purpose in life, and leave you with tangible ways to apply the content that you learn right here on this podcast. So let's go ahead and get started. Just in case you don't know a little bit about me, let me tell you, I'm a professional school counselor with the Chicago Public School System. I'm a certified life coach, and I am the author of my first book, Stepping Into Me. Any of it that you do not have your copy, make sure that you visit my website and get yours today. I am also the author of my motivational workbook. This workbook was something that my life coaching clients needed as a tangible takeaway after they finished their sessions with me. So if you have not obtained your copy, please make sure that you do so. I believe in connection and cultivation, and you're going to learn that and see that right on this podcast. I am the mother of 3. I have a son and 2 daughters. I am a proud sister. I am a proud aunt, cousin, and a friend. And guess what, y'all? I am married to my soulmate of 15 years, the man that God designed just for me. So let's go ahead and get started. If you have not done so already, if you have not told at least 10 of your friends, your family members to follow me on social media, what are you waiting for? Follow me on Facebook. You can reach me at Dameron Enterprises. You can reach me on Instagram at Dameron Enterprises. Make sure that you like, share, and comment on my page. Last but not least, let me give out my thank you shout outs to all of my sponsors. High End Junkie, you can follow them on Instagram at High End Junkie. Keith Ward Beauty, Keith-Ward.com, as well as Keith Ward on Instagram. CL Production on Instagram at CLA_Studios LLC. The City Point Lawson Church on Instagram, and the Black Podcast app. You can reach them on Instagram. So go ahead and follow them. So today on Stepping Into Me, the podcast, we're going to talk about being resilient. What does it mean to be resilient? Why is being resilient important? Well, resiliency is the ability to withstand adversity. It's the ability to bounce back from difficult life events that you may face or endure. Being resilient does not mean that you don't experience stress. It does not mean that you don't experience emotional upheaval and suffering. Resilient people are aware of situations. They own their emotional reactions and the behavior of those around them. In order to manage their feelings, it is essential for you to understand what is causing them and why. Resilient people are aware and they can maintain control of a situation. They think of new ways to tackle the problems that they may endure. Being resilient means that, again, that you are not faced with those stressful situations, but it's knowing how to manage those things. It's important for you to understand those things, why they are happening. So why is building resilience important? With all of the hardships that we face, with all of the adversity that we may endure, the stress, the disconnection, especially during COVID and after COVID, resilience is important. It's important because it gives us the strength that we need to process and to overcome adversity and hardship. Those lacking resilience can easily become overwhelmed, and it may turn into unhealthy coping mechanisms. Resilient people, what they do is they tap into their strengths and their support systems to overcome challenges, and they work through their problems. People who develop resilience are better equipped to learn from their failures, and they adapt to change easily. So I love my research, guys. So I read this article, and it was written by Susan Kabasa, and she stated that there are 3 elements that are essential to resilience. She talked about being challenged, commitment, and your personal control. She stated that resilient people view a difficult situation as a challenge. It's not a paralyzing event. They look at their failures and mistakes as lessons to be learned from, as opportunities for them to grow. They don't view them as a negative reflection on their abilities or their own personal self-worth. They use it as a learning opportunity. She also says, and she talks about commitment. She stated that resilient people are committed to their lives and their goals. They're determined. They have a compelling reason to get out of bed each and every morning, so they have something to look forward to. Commitment isn't about just being restricted to your work. They commit to their relationships. They commit to their friendships, the causes that they care about, their religious and spiritual beliefs. They are committed to the things that they deem important in their life. She talks about personal control. She says that resilient people spend their time and energy focusing on situations and events that they have control over, because they put their efforts where they can have the most impact. They feel empowered and they feel confident in those things. Those who spend time worrying about uncontrollable events, they can often feel helpless, powerless, and they can't even take action in those things. So we must make sure that we are challenging ourselves, that we are committed to our causes, and know what we can and cannot control. So Martin Edelman, which is another researcher, he explains that setbacks are important when we are, and they help to build up that resiliency. He talks in terms of optimism and pessimism rather than resilience. So he says that the effect is essentially the same though. This is made up of 3 elements. He says that it's permanence. He says that people who are optimistic and therefore have more resilience see the effects of bad events as temporary rather than a permanent thing. For instance, somebody at work, they might say, my boss didn't like the work that I did on that project, rather than saying my boss never likes my work. Do you see the difference? He talks about persuasiveness. He says that resilient people don't let setbacks or bad events affect unrelated areas of their lives. For instance, sometimes they may say, I'm not very good at this, rather than them saying that they're no good at anything. See the difference? And then he also talks about personalization. He says that people who have resilience don't blame themselves when a bad event occurs. Instead, they see other people or the circumstances as the cause. For instance, they might say, I didn't get the support that I needed to finish a certain project successfully, rather than saying, I messed up that project because people can't do their job or I can't do my job. There's a difference with that. He says there are 3 things, again, permanence, persuasiveness, and personalization. Dr. Cal Crow states that resilient people have a positive image of the future. That is, they maintain a positive outlook on their lives. They envision brighter days ahead. They have something to look forward to, although they may be facing adversity or obstacles. He says that resilient people have solid goals and a desire to achieve those goals. He says that resilient people are empathetic and compassionate people. Compassionate people are people who see a problem or see a need and they do something about it. However, they don't waste time worrying about what others think of them. They maintain those healthy relationships, but they don't bow down to the pressures of the world. He also states that resilient people can never think of themselves as victims. They focus their time and their energy on changing the things that they have control over. It's simple. Some things we have control over, some things we do not have control over. Making sure that we are aware of the things that we have control over is key in becoming resilient. Guess what, you guys? I always like to end and talk about your character. If you have not thought about the things that you embody and what your character traits and what you possess, think about those things. I talk about it all the time. I talk about that of being prideful, an acronym I use. operating with peace. This is mine. I operate with peace. I respect all those in my sphere of influence and those that I encounter. I operate with integrity. I am determined to reach my goals, and I do it all with excellence. You guys and everyone under the sound of my voice, I am encouraging all of you to sharpen your character traits. Make sure that you identify those character traits that you want to polish up. If you face adversity and you find positive ways to tackle the things in the world, then you'll be successful in adding spice to your character. Don't let those things that you face bring you down, but make sure that you are letting you know that you are going to face those things, but building yourself up in the process. As it relates to resilience, you can build your character by understanding that life is full of challenges, and you have control over that. Develop your character today. You don't necessarily have to use mind, pride, peace, respect, integrity, determination, but figure out what you embody and polish those things up. So ways that you can build your resiliency: learn to relax. When you take care of your mind, your body, you can better cope effectively with life's challenges, right? You can develop a good sleep routine. If you have not done that, sleep is necessary. Try out some new exercises or use physical relaxation techniques like deep breathing or meditation. Those are good ways to go ahead and relax yourself. Make sure that you practice your thought awareness. Resilient people, they don't let negative thoughts derail their efforts. Instead, they consistently practice positive thinking. When something negative comes in, they shoot it right out and combat it with something positive. This means listening to how you talk to yourself. You must make sure that you're affirming yourself on a regular basis. When something goes wrong, if you find something wrong in life, make statements that are permanent, persuasive, and personalize those things. Correct those thoughts in your mind, those negative thoughts, as soon as they come. Affirm yourself. Replace them with positive affirmations. Make sure that you are learning from your mistakes and your failures. Every mistake has the power to teach you something important. Remember that. So look for the lesson in every situation that you face. Also, make sure that you understand that the idea of post-traumatic growth. Often people find that crisis situations such as job loss or breakups in a relationship, they allow you to reevaluate your lives, and you can make positive changes after that. Choose your response. Remember, we all experience bad days. We all go through our share of crisis situations, but we have a choice on how we're going to respond. You could choose to react with panic. You could choose to react negatively to that situation, but we can choose also to remain calm and find a logical solution to the situation. Your reaction is always up to you. If you want to unpack this topic or any other topic that I talk about on this podcast, reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Facebook at Dameron Enterprises. You can visit my website, ldameronenterprises.com. You can send me an email at ldameronenterprises@gmail.com. You can leave me a comment or ask a question below. Reach out to me on Instagram, Dameron Enterprises. I am available. This has been my lesson today on resilience and my take on being resilient. Join me as I unpack this topic and talk about many other topics on this podcast, such as relationships, such as determination, such as being your power of perception, what is love, dealing with distractions, and many, many more. Be sure to follow me. Be sure to share my page, like and comment. And if you're looking for a life coach, I am your girl. Look at my coaching packages right on my website. Until next time, everybody, make sure you purchase the book, Stepping Into Me, or the motivational workbook. This is Toya, and I am out.